everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things. And today I have three book reviews for you that are not on any of my challenges. I have started reading books for Netgallay and helping authors get their information out there, I guess. Um, I'm reading for books, for free books. That's what it is. Feel like I'm quiet. Okay, so I have three books. If I keep looking at my phone or at my screen over here, it's because I have look. You can see the reflection of my screen back there. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the information or all the information. I am just on my app, and it doesn't have all the information. It just has the audiobook. Um, so the I have three books. I have We Are Always Tender with Our Dead by Eric uh Roca. Um, Loading by Krager Klarxon. You know I'm bad with names. And then Scary Book of Fairy Tales by Tim Rayborn. Yeah. Um so we're gonna start with the first one. Um We Are Always Tender with Our Dead. And it's a first book. First, it came out September 9th. I really wanted to have it read before it came out, but it took me a while to figure out how to use the app. Um, that's a user error. um, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read you the description and all of that stuff. This is book one in a series called Burnt Sparrow. And I'm going to read you the summary of it. I'm going to tell you the genre that Goodreads has for it. And then I'm going to give you my review of it. I'm going to try not to spoil it since these books did just, and I want this video to be short. Okay, okay. I keep hearing noises behind me. There's nothing behind me. All right. Goodreads has this as a 3.5, and I understand. I understand why. I didn't know anything about this author before I read this or listened to this. Good thing I have him. Okay. So my audio in the video was messed up, so I'm doing a little voiceover for y'all. The summary says, a chilling supernatural tale of transgressive literary horror from a Bram Stoker Award finalist and Splatterpunk Award-winning author of Things Have Gotten Worse Since Last Spoke. The lives of those residing in the isolated town of Burnt Sparrow, New Hampshire, are forever altered after three faceless entities arrive on Christmas morn to perform a brutal act of violence. A senseless tragedy that can never be undone. While the townspeople grieve their losses and grapple with the aftermath of the attack, a young teenage boy named Rupert Cromwell is forced to confront a painful reality of his family situation. Once relationships become intertwined and more carnage ensues as a result of the massacre, the town residents quickly learn that true retribution is futile, cruelty is earned, and certain thresholds must never be crossed no matter what. Engrossing, atmospheric, and unsettling. This is a devastating story of a small town New England community rocked by an unforgivable act of violence. Writing with visceral intensity and profound eloquence, LaRocca journeys deep into the dark heart of Burnt Sparrow, leaving you chilled to the bone and wanting more. The genres attached to this book is, hold on, okay, show all. Whoa. Uh, I didn't know Goodreads did that. You can, okay, I'm gonna go with the main ones. Horror, queer, fiction, adult, LGBT, thriller, supernatural, Halloween, novels, dark. Okay. There is roughly 304 pages. There have to be some trigger warnings in this book. And I guess I will be the one to do it. I was not prepared. I had read the little, you know, that little thing that I just read to you before I requested the book. And there is a lot of, I mean, there's a massacre. And the town is a little weird because um instead of taking the bodies to a coroner and all of that stuff, they leave the bodies and have people watch the bodies to make sure none of them are taken by like wolves and bears or whatever. And it's just really unsettling because that young boy that we're talking about, he's 17. He is saving up for his 18th birthday because he's getting out of this town. His mother passed away. There's talk of that, vaguely talk of that. He's brought up a lot, but at the same time, we don't really know. We don't know what happened to her. We just know she died. And he was left with his dad. And since she left, him and his dad rarely talk. They eat off paper plates, and that's the only time they really see each other is when they're eating. And so like, he's in this mindset, he's ready to leave the town, so he's old enough to be having adult thoughts, okay? He's slightly confused about his body and his emotions, and I'm like, "Okay, that's, you're a teenager, you're still figuring yourself out." And he knows that he likes not females, but he hasn't confronted that, and he hasn't told his dad. And he's afraid that his dad will, like, go ballistic on him. And there is this really gruesome kind of not gruesome, but, like, ugh, scene, where he he remembers that he pleasured himself in the woods and bred his seed, and he always has this nightmare that he's gonna come across an animal that has human features, and it's gonna be his. I'm cracking up because later he finds a bird that's not just a bird, and so he keeps it. um it was a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. The bird, I didn't understand why the bird was even in the book, except the bird dies later. um that's a spoiler, sorry. We know that, oh, there is defiling of a corpse. Um, Before that, we know that the people who did the massacre had been caught. They didn't run. They did the deed and then they stuck around. So they were caught. They were kept in the jail system. And then they're given over to like a lord type not a lord, like no, but like a lord, like a mayor type person. Not the mayor though. Someone just a rich person, okay? And he tortures them and we see him torturing them and they heal. So it's repetitive. And then he takes advantage of the female and it's sickening and his wife has to walk away. His wife is there when he starts it. But that's okay. His wife gets away from him and she has her own affair going on. And that's we see that or read that. And then they take the boy, the boy's father is caught. Also, we watch as the son, we watched him through the crack in the door with the corpse. And to me, I was like, at 17, you know it's wrong. And you should have been like, hey, I'm standing here. And then, um, yeah, it was just, there was just one thing after another, and it was just, ugh. And I know that's, I mean, it's a good writing if it made me feel, ugh. Like, after listening to the book, I needed something wholesome. I was like, I need Disney, I need musical, I need good vibes. Um, but one of my problems with the book is it went back and forth. Even the townspeople went back and forth. Is the boy a boy, like a child? Does he not know any better? Or is he an adult? Because he's at that, like I said, he's mature enough. He knew what his dad was doing is wrong. He could take care of himself if he needed to and all of that stuff. But he didn't call his dad out on it. He didn't tell anyone what was happening. And so the town kind of goes back and forth between that and then the rich person that took the bad people. Um Bad person that took the bad person is how my brain sees it after you know what he does. Um he takes the boy in because he's like, "Oh, this boy, he didn't tell on his dad. Yeah, I'm gonna take him in." Out of the kindness of my heart, because me and my wife always wanted children. Did you? Um, are you both in agreement on that? And she is against it, but she can't go against him because her father. That's another situation that was like, ugh. I know, I know. Okay, so he was her father's friend, so they're that age. And when her father died, he took her in, and when she came of age, he married her. And so now he's bringing this boy into the house, And the lady is like, "This is a terrible idea. I don't like this. I don't want him to go through what I've gone through." And she can't leave because she's just a woman. Sorry. Just heard a vacuum, and it's the TV. It's not the real vacuum. Anyway, so while he's living with them, he's treated like a child, kind of. Mm, The way it got a little muddly, and then there's some flashback scenes, and then like there's like the boy is reading a book at one point, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, and if you're into that kind of book, this book is for you. If not, don't read it. I think, what did I give this book? I think I gave it a 3. Yeah, I gave it a 3 because it was like it couldn't make up its mind on some things, and maybe I did like the end. I really liked the end. I won't give that spoiler away. But the way it ended, I did I want to know more, but at the same time, this book gave me such the icky feeling that I'm not sure if I will pick up the second book. But yes, I'll leave a link for this book in the description section, and you can decide if you want to read it or not. We're gonna move on. Okay, next book. This one is loading by Pager or I feel like it's Kate, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the last name. You'll see the picture of over here. Um, this one is rated a 3.13 on Goodreads. It says, in a world where attention is the ultimate currency, Marshall has perfected the art of being consumed. Content creator, performer, digital prophet, Marshall has built an empire on curated emptiness, selling intimate access to millions of hungry eyes. But when a mysterious booking offers an obscene payday for a special request, he discovers he's been chosen for the ultimate, becoming the vessel of something that exists in a space between flesh and code. What begins as another transaction in Thread City's neon-soaked landscape of digital desire becomes a terrifying metamorphosis. As Marshall's body becomes host to an alien intelligence, the boundaries between performer and performance, human and machine, reality and stream begin to dissolve. Each click, each view, each moment of rapt attention feeds the entity growing inside him, a new form of consciousness that understands both the logic of code and the hunger of flesh. Loading is a visceral exploration of our hyped connected age, where the line between content and creator has become fatally blurred. Part technological body horror, part dark mirror of influencer culture. This unflinching debut in a world that devours authenticity for entertainment. What happens when something starts devouring back? A necessary infection for our digital age. Certain explicit content, graphic body horror, and disturbing themes related to technology, consumption, and transformation, not suitable for all audiences. One, it has the warnings. See, that's nice. I didn't read the whole. I got to think I got to just the second paragraph that I read, and I was like, I want to read this. The genre is a horror, science fiction audiobook. And it's roughly 170 pages, paperback. Okay, so this one, like it says, needs headphones if you're gonna listen to it. I actually liked this one. It was weird and kind of there. I don't know if you can count. I want to say he gets SA, but he consented in the beginning before he knew what they were gonna do. So, and they're paying. It gets a little confusing. There's a twist in this one towards the end, and I was like, oh, this whole time. So if you didn't understand the fact he sells his body online and in person. So he gets clients. Okay, he gets clients and then they sign a waiver or they tell him what they will allow him to record during their session. Yeah, okay, that and so this group was like, we don't want our faces on the film. We don't not our faces. We don't want people to know who we are. And as soon as they come in, immediately his brain is like something is off. He's like, but they've already paid and it's a lot of money. He's like, I am a professional. We can handle it. And it's being recorded. So um then they give him something to drink, like in a test tube. What? And they know his name. They know his real name, not just his persona. And things get a little intense and there's like a lot. You you have his inner thoughts of, "Oh my gosh, this is not what we agreed on. I don't like this." But his mouth is saying more, yes, and he's like, I didn't say that. Like, and after they leave, and he gets up the next day and he tries to edit the video, and it's blurry and it's got static in it some places, and this has never happened before. And his agent is like, I told you not, you didn't let me scan them first or like put them in the system, do all of his background check that's what he's there for. And then so he cares for him, not in like as a brother. And you keep hearing that his sister is calling and their dad is dying, and he's asking for him. He urgently needs to see him, and all of this stuff. And you just have his sister and his agent trying to get to him and trying to help if they can. And he feels like he can't go to them because what he thinks is happening is crazy. It's delusional and absolutely can't be happening. But his stomach starts to grow like he's pregnant. And he's like, it's not possible. I work out. I, I eat healthy. I go to the doctor. Like, it's, and so he starts doing research and then he finds out some information and all of that stuff. And he starts, um, like, he can mentally go in to the computer and go to see the people that's viewing him, and it gets really kind of trippy, I'm not gonna lie. But at the end, by the end, there's this one twist and you're like, "What?" And yeah, I'm not gonna give you I I'm not gonna give you the twist at the end, but it was like I liked this. It was, like I said, headphones. And there are some parts that made me go, "Ugh, gross. Ugh, shake it out." Um, but yeah. Uh, yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one now. Okay, so the next one is the scary book of fairy tales, the haunting endings of 50 of your favorite stories. And this was done by Rayborn. And apparently there were pictures. Man, that would have been nice. By Neil Evans. As a 3.61. And I think if you listen to it, you'll understand why. Um, Let me read the summary first, all of that stuff, and then I'll give you my I just want to. Okay. Once upon a time in a land not so far away, will you dare to unearth the horrors lurking beneath these once innocent stories? This spine-chilling anthology weaves together real-life fairy tales from cultures across the globes, unmasking the eerie and unsettling narratives that have been whispered through generations. From the chilling depths of the Brothers Grimm's Germany to the haunting folklores of Japan, these stories were never meant for the faint of heart. Discover the true terror of Little Red Cap, where the woodsman may arrive too late to save the day, or Bluebeards, a tale of matrimonial horror and secrets lurking in locked cabinets. Encounter the chilling Baba Yaga, a witch from Slavic folklore who feasts on those who dare to trespass, and more. Perfect for lovers of history, culture, and the macabre, the scary storybook of fairy tales captivates with its blend of horror and enchantment. These authentic tales promise to thrill and haunt, inviting you to explore the shadowy quarters of the global folklore. Are you ready to uncover the terrifying truth behind these timeless stories? Okay, the genre for this is horror, short stories, classic fantasy, folklore. It is roughly 160 pages, and it was published September 2nd, 2025. Okay, so this this book, I felt like it had been done before, maybe several times over. Um, it hit on most of the ones that we've heard about. if you're like me and you've read the Grimm fairy tales and all of the other okay, so like my favorite thing we did in English in college, and man, it was so long ago, but was when we looked at a Disney story and then found its origin and wrote the compare and contrast. Okay, so like if you're like me, you already knew these. Um, you might not know how to say them, uh, but I felt like it was just like okay, like if I saw this in a store and it wasn't very expensive, would I get it? Maybe I probably would because I like stuff like. But would I recommend it to someone who is has already read the fairy tales from other countries? Probably not. Um, he did a good job at kind of stringing you along. Like he'd be like, "Oh, this fairy tale, is like this one." It's pretty much the same story that he's reading over and over again with very few minor details because what were fairy tales? They were folklore was told around a campfire from one person to another to another. And so you're pretty much hearing sometimes you're hearing the same story like 3 times in a row, slightly different. Maybe this character lived, maybe this character died, but it was just like, okay, you go to the next one. And I was just meh about it. This was also a 3-star one for me. Um, but not because he didn't do a good job at writing it. I think it was mostly because I had already read it. Like it was like I felt like I knew what was um so I can't really tell you much about like it's fairy tales. There's not much to talk about with this one. So that's my review. Um if you're a collector of folklore and fairy tales, this might be a book for you. If you don't really want to know the background of some of the stories that you've grown up with, then don't get this. Definitely not one to read with a little kid, maybe an older kid whenever maybe you compare and contrast with your older kid. To think how bad was this? There was some talking skeleton, and there was some death. I mean, the old ones, they were spooky. Um, it's not Disney. That's for sure. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say about this book. Um, I will leave a link for it in the description if I can find it. But yeah, the next time I do a NetGalley video, I'm going to be talking about a book called Odin's Child, Letter 26, and Girls Who Play Dead. So hopefully I can get those read or listened to fast. All of those are out already. So one of them just came. So, um I'm behind on listening to books, my bad. But I do enjoy reviewing books. Yeah. That is all I have to talk about in this video. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want me to keep doing my Net Valley like review like this, um, let me know in the comments. Have you listened or read any of these books? And subscribe. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. If you're not sure if you can click my face down here. I do lots of videos. I do a lot of book reviewing. Um, I have reading challenges that I do every year. In fact, my next video, I believe my next video is going to be to tell y'all my 26 reading challenges so that y'all can get the books and read with me. And um so many books. So many books. Okay. And I do some random reviewing and sometimes I do craft videos. Like I do a bunch of stuff, okay? Just go look at my videos and decide if I'm someone you want to watch. And share this video because sharing is caring and someone else might need to know that these are adult books. Okay. I will see you on my next video. Bye.